Hello everyone. In this video, I just wanted to do a very general lesson about how to graph a linear function. Yesterday we talked about a linear function could always be written as y equals to mx plus b. Now note, the reason why we say linear is because x to the power is always the power of 1. If it's not a 1, it's not a linear function. It could be something else. Now, for example, if the power is 2, it becomes a quadratic function. This is a quadratic function will be studied when you're in grade 11. All right. Now, why do we say it's a function? The reason why is because there's a relationship between x and y. So now, for example, this in general is that mx plus b means m and b can be any number. Now, for example, if y equals to 2 over 3 x plus 4. So that means when x equals to one number, y has to be another number. It is restricted by this equal sign. So then we also say when we put this equation onto a graph, then it is a linear function, it's a straight line. And how do we graph the straight line? Then that means that we can come up with a table of values because the x value and y value has to be functioning by this equation. So in this word, there's many x and y as a pair on this line, but we can only just choose 2 points on this line. So that means if I let x be a value and y, I calculate the y value, and that point has to be on the line. So if I say x equals to 0, and then y equals to 4 in this case, and then the next point I say x equals to 3, okay, if x equals to 3 here, 3 and 3, then that becomes 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. So if x equals to 3, then y is 6. All right? So in this case, then I'm just going to plot these 2 points. One is 0 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. And then the next one is 3 to 6. 3 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another dot is here. All right. And then I connect these 2 dots. And then this is my line. All right. Note, when you graph a line, you need to use these 2 arrow signs at the very end, the 2 ends. That means this line is going forever. Okay. So this is one way to graph. So we called this way to graph, we give a name called, this one called using table of values. So this is a table of values. We only need 2 values. In your textbook says give another third point to make sure that for sure this calculation is not wrong. It's not wrong. Okay, you can get a third point. Third point is I let x be 6. Okay, so if be 6, and that becomes 2. So 2, 2, then that is 4, 4, 8. So this is 6, and that is 8. So 6 and 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see, it's right here. And of course, this is on the line, right? So if you find, oh, okay, this one, and this one is somewhere else, and that means this one's calculation was wrong. Okay, so this is called using table of values. But we also talk about another thing is that we could also use so-called the y-intercept as one point. And then from that point, we can just go rise and run. So let me write this equation again. So this is starting from 2 over 3x plus 4. So then my b is positive 4. So that means my y-intercept is 4. So it's right here. See, because x equals to 0. And then y equals to 4. Now from here, I will count the slope because this is a rise and this is a run, right? So in this case, that means I go rise from this point. I go up for 2, 1, and 2. And then I go, because it's positive 3, so we go right to 3. 1 and 2 and 3. So this is my next point. Then from these 2 points, I draw a line. See, of course, they're the same line. All right? So this one is called use y-intercept and slope to graph this. All right? So some of the students do find this one easier. Now, especially with some of the question like this, when this is a fraction, right? So it's much easier rather than counting this, these numbers or figure out all these values, and I just do the rise and overrun, right? Now let's do another example. So for example, if I say y equals to negative 3 over 4x, subtract 2. Okay, so this equation. Now let's just erase, so I still can use the graph here, the grid. So let's erase this, okay? So now what do I do? So here, negative 2. Negative 2 is right here. I'm going to get a point, which is negative 2. Now from this point, now I'm going to count the slope. Yesterday in another video, I already talked about the slope m now is negative 3 over 4. This could be written either in negative 3 over 4, or it could be also written as 3 over negative 4, either way. So in this case, that means your rise is a negative number, your run is a positive number. In this case, rise is a positive, run is negative. So rise, if it is a positive number, it goes up. If it's a negative number, it goes down. Now run, on the other hand, if it's a positive, it goes to the right. If it's a negative, it goes to the left, right? So in this case, okay, why don't I take this one? So this is negative 3, so it goes down for 3. 1, 2, 3. So then the 4 is positive, then I go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is my another point, okay? So in this case, then I just draw this line. And then that's my graph of this equation. The same thing, if I use this one here, okay, I can use this one. So that means from this point, I go 1, 2, 3, and then I go left. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, right here is my another point. Okay, well, in this case, connect this point with that point. It's still, they're on the same line. So this also means this is how we graph the linear function. But there's another issue here. So for example, this, I'm going to erase some of this. First of all, I'm going to erase this one because I'm using this grid. I'm going to erase this one. I'm going to erase this one. Erase all these kind of things. So let's start with another issue that I will be talking about. Now, for example, let's just take this second example I just demonstrated. So let's just say this equation is looking like this. All right. So for this equation, of course, I can multiply by 4 on both sides. Nobody can say I cannot do that. As we said, that do exactly the same thing on both sides of the equation is still the same equation, although it looks different. So multiply by 4 on this side. So this side becomes 4y. And then the other side is this is multiplied in, this is multiplied in. So that becomes negative 3x, because there's a 4 and 4 cancels, negative 3x, negative 8. All right? Now, I'm going to move this negative 3x to this side. So then this is now becomes positive 3x plus 4y equals to negative 8. Okay. This equation and our original equation, which is this, negative 3 over 4x, subtract 2. They are absolutely the same equation, although they look different. So this equation, this type of equation, will have a name for it. This name is called slope intercept form. Now, when it becomes like that, and then you call the general form. So, in this case, now the second point of this video is to say, okay, if it's a given in a general form, and how are we going to graph? That is our second topic today. Okay, so let's say, okay, well, we're going to graph a general form of linear function. So that is that equals to negative 8. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to erase down here. There's two ways of doing things. It's still the same thing. There's two ways. Now, one way we're saying is that I can just use a table of values. Of course, I can use table of values. So if I use table of values, then I just say, okay, if I use table of values, okay, I'm going to get x and y, so I would add x to be 0. Okay, so if x is 0, then this is 0, and then divided by 4 on both sides. So y is negative 2. All right? Now the next one is, okay, what do I want x to be? So my y is kind of easy value. Oh, that could be a little bit more challenging, but that's fine. But so what I'm saying is that, okay, I can also say, why don't I want y to be 0? Okay, now y to be 0. Now if y to be 0, now x equals to negative 8 over 3. Well, I still have these 2 points of graph. So in this case, let's just, okay, so negative 2, x is 0, and this is negative 2. This is one of my points. And y equal to 0. This is almost a little bit more than negative 2. So this will be negative 2 somewhere here. Okay? And then that is just my line. That is just my line. However, I'm also saying, no, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I'm going to change the general form into a slope form. So I can do change general form into the slope-intercept form. All right, so I have 3x plus 4y equals to -8. So note, slope-intercept form is y equals to mx plus b. So that means y is on its own on one side, all the other ones on the other side. So that means I got to move this one to the other side. I also have to get rid of this 4. So that's easy. Move this one to the other side. Now I have 4y here. 3x is gone. Go to the other side is -3x. And then divided by 4 on both sides. So that is gone. So then that means y equals to -8 divided by 4. -8 divided by 4 is -2. -3x divided by 4 is -3/4x. So look at this, my equation now, it is -3/4x subtract 2. Well, this is the equation we did at the beginning. Okay, that's easy. All right, so I am going to get my y-intercept. Same thing, right here, -2. Okay, now 3/4, -3. So I'm going to go down to 1, 2, 3. All right, and then positive 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right here. That's my another point. So I am going to connect these dots. So they are the same line. They're absolutely the same line. All right, sorry, I'm making a mess here. Okay, so they're just the same line. You got my point here, all right? Okay, so this kind of from a general form into a slope-intercept form, or from slope-intercept form turn into a general form, just using the different way on the both side equation. This is called the algebra or algebraic manipulation. Okay, this skill is very, very important in terms of study pre-cal mathematics and also calculus as your final goal for most of you for the mathematics study. Okay, this kind of manipulation is a very good manipulation on both sides of the equation. Okay, so when you can do this manipulation, doesn't matter, it's either given to this form or even given to this form, either using table values or using intercept and slope, you should be able to graph for a line.